Welcome to episode 264 of Real Therapy, the place where we talk about how movies make us feel. I'm your host, Donavon Thompson, with my co-host,
Daniel Wingfield.
And today we're discussing Volume 1 of the final season of Stranger Things. This is Real Therapy, and you know what that means.
They're gonna talk about how it makes them feel. They're gonna watch all the movie reels, cause it's Dan and Don in Real Therapy. It's real.
Hey man, how you doing?
Hey, long time, little bit of time no see. It's been a minute. We had a little break there.
Yeah, I'm laughing as to how you doing. We both just went through this like laundry list of ailments we have because we're getting old. You know, I feel like I've been old for a very long time, but yeah, no, I mean, you're right. It's I put a post out last week, I think, just for me. I know no one reads it, but it was for me. And I was like, I put in the post like, hey guys, we didn't quit doing Real Therapy.
Right. Yeah.
We've just been very busy, and it was like the perfect storm of Thanksgiving. You know, I was in LA, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas is on the way. And then we also had a project that we just kind of took over our lives, I feel like, the last 4 weeks.
It did,
and in a good way. And it was just like this perfect storm of, this is the longest we've ever been off the air since we started.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah. And I think, you know, it's one of those things where, like, I think I've always been really proud of our consistency, and it's not that isn't still a priority. I think it really is that creative project we've been working on, which I would love to. We need to figure out how we want to eventually talk about that on the podcast at some point. Even just the process. I would love to talk about what a really cool thing that you and I made in this last month. At some point, I would love to bring that to our listeners. And you wouldn't miss that. You would be sure to know that was coming if you were subscribed to our channels, to our RSS feeds on the podcasts, streamers. If you would just like our page, subscribe to our channels, you can make sure you don't miss out on the next cool thing we'll be doing, on the next awesome show or TV or movie we'll be talking about. Just like today, how we're talking about this banger of a start to the final seasons of Stranger Things. So like, subscribe, please, today.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to discuss. It's all I want to do.
I know.
I just want to discuss that film with everybody.
Yeah.
And meetings have been happening. People have been reading things. And I would love to talk about that more than anything in the world. Like, it really bums me out. Like, as I've said privately, it bums me out sometimes. I have to work on other things. I'm like,
you know what we could do? We could record a podcast about it in the near future and then save it.
We've done that before for a similar thing
in the bag for when we can talk about it. Hey, yeah, we recorded this a week or two after we wrote that. Here's a little inside baseball.
Already a tease right there.
Right?
Yeah, I love the idea. I would do that anytime you want to do it because it's fresh on our minds. Yes. I think the cool thing about it not only is like what we did, like in terms of like the movie, but just how we did it. I think that's interesting. And I've never, I've listened to a lot of writers, and I've read a lot of things, and I've never heard someone do that. I'm sure it happens all the time, but it was just unique. It was just our process we've done, but expedited and efficient. That's what it was.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where, and we're kind of talking about it now. Here's a preview. Listen,
a little bit, yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, there's nothing we did this time that we've not done before.
Exactly.
But we had the right mindset, we had the right goals, and we kept our focus on the right things, that we didn't get sidetracked, and we were able to just kind of do the process, and it all came together really quickly. And I think that, it's one of those things of like, I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, especially in film or areas where there's lots of phases to creativity, that like sometimes your best work is spread out between all these different projects you've done. Well, that was my best camera work, and that was my best directing, and that was this, and that was that. But it's always the best feeling when you're able to kind of harness your abilities to their peak and then put them into one thing. Be like, yeah, this is what we can do when we really focus and we really apply and do what we know we're good at. So that's the preview for what we'll be talking about, but with
I
all
just
the
want to keep
juicy
talking about it. It's a
proper
problem.
nouns and details in that.
And I think we also had a deadline. I think that really, I work off deadlines,
Sure.
and typically they're self-imposed, but this one was self-imposed, but also like there was something that physically had to happen. So like it wasn't self-imposed. So anyway, in a way, I would love to talk to you about that, talk to our listeners about that. And maybe, it'd be great to even get Bruce. Maybe we can get, feedback from Bruce and do like we did with our last project.
That'd be beautiful.
And do that with this one and record it and then, save it for if we ever wanted to feel hurt or pain again, we could just watch the podcast.
Exactly.
All right, listeners. That was a big opening here for for an episode about something that's already kind of happened. Like, again, we're kind of playing catch up here. So, Pluribus is almost finished.
Yeah.
Stranger Things Volume 1, which we're fixing to talk about, has been out since Thanksgiving now.
Yeah.
And we're very shortly away from Volume 2, and then of course the
literally
finale.
a week. From
Literally a week. Yes, you're correct. And there's been all kinds of other things that's come out since then, Game Awards, all these other things. But we thought we would kind of just take our time. And Fallout, again, I'm sure you've watched it, but I haven't even seen a trailer for it. So maybe the first trailer, the teaser or something a year ago. I don't know. But so there's so much to talk about, and I'm kind of glad that we get to it will give us things over the next month or two to kind of catch up on. And if listeners want to hear it, great. If they're like, you guys are behind, I don't care. We're doing this because we want to do it for fun. But Stranger Things, Volume 1, I really want to talk about your just initial impressions. Sorry, I'm not feeling well. Talk about your initial impressions, and then maybe your expectations from season 4 to season 5 and your initial impressions. That's kind of what I want to hear from you, because I haven't talked to you about it really.
Yeah, no, I mean, going back to season 4, I thought it had an incredibly strong start. Incredibly strong. Got me back in. And in the end was good, if just not quite as strong as the start. Still very good. Still had some amazing moments. The running up the hill, the Eddie's moment. There was just some amazing things to the end. But it just didn't have quite the pop that the first few did. And I'll say the beginning of this season kind of felt the same way, where it's like, okay, I'm in. We're doing all the things. Like it felt a bit plot like. Okay, well, let's catch up with these characters. What have they been doing? Let's catch up with these. And what's their goal? Where are we going with all this? And also maybe just a bit expedited because it's the final season. Like, we're not taking time to check in on the real world as much as we are figuring out how these characters are reacting to this final set piece, basically. And so I was enjoying it. I thought the whole, like, I don't know what it's like a murder club, like basically their little like gang of, I don't know how you describe it, like just people that are like, I'm trying to think of the movie, like almost like, I guess, Goonies, like just, you're muted. You are muted.
I was saying they're kind of like the Warriors or Lost Boys. Like they're
Yeah, like just this gang of youth doing things on their own without the adults knowing, even though adults are helping. And there's still some bright moments. I liked Maya Hawke. She's continually, I think, just an interesting, good actress and good character.
She's amazing.
Yeah. And then all the mainstays were good, but man, the final moments of that, was it the third episode? Was it 3 episodes or 4?
It's 4.
The final moments of that episode 4, for one, was one of the most badass moments I think of the whole series. Like one of the most like did not see that coming at all, and it's one of the coolest things you could have done kind of moments. Like, yep. And I think what it did is it gave me an idea of where we might really be going towards the end in a way that made me excited, right? In a way that's like, okay, the possibilities of what this ending was going to be just kind of opened up for me. Because I think going into the season, it's like, yeah, we got to kill Vecna. There's not too much mystery involved, right? It's just kind of do the plot. But now there's this element of like, oh, but how exactly is this going to go down? And that has made me even more excited. So I want your thoughts.
Yeah, no, you're right. Season 4 really did a good job of laying the foundation of what the show, where it's going, right? As soon as you find out about Vecna and the twist of like who number one is and all these kind of things and how they're the same person, you kind of just know like, okay, Vecna is basically, he's the big bad, right? If you stop Vecna, then you're going to stop in some whatever sense the Upside Down. So that's always helpful going into a final season, just like Game of Thrones, where the Ice King is there, and it's like, okay, we all know where the pieces are heading. We just the fun part now is how do they get there, and then the most important part, which I think the Duffer Brothers have even referenced Game of Thrones in this, is like, do they stick the landing?
Yeah.
You can give a show a lot of breath or a lot of freedom for not maybe getting to the finale in a nice way, as long as you hit the finale. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that goes with even movies sometimes. Sometimes getting to the end is a little rocky, but if you nail the ending, then it kind of retroactively makes the rest of the experience feel better. And there's the inverse is true too. Sometimes you'll have, movies that are really great, and then they'll get to the end, they just kind of flop it, and it's underwhelming. Yeah. And even though 80% of the movie's great, the last 20%, because it's the ending, because it's the thing you're walking away with, it just makes you not want to even go through all the great stuff anymore.
And this is especially evident in like horror, right? There's so many horror movies that 80% of that movie is great, and then the reveal sucks so bad that it nullifies the greatness of the first 80 minutes.
Yeah. Really any type of mystery thing, really. If the mystery is not and this goes to we've talked about this a lot with Severance and even Pluribus has been a discussion of like, because those shows are mysteries, they have to nail the ending. You could have some mediocre seasons, but the ending's great, we're going to be okay. That being said, they did a good job setting up season 5. It's been a long time since season 4. I was initially disappointed in the very beginning of these first 4 episodes, because the show season 4 ended, and it wasn't this. And I've never been like a Stranger Things fanatic. Like I've said multiple times, and especially in our conversations last 3 years ago, like Stranger Things on paper is built for me, but just something about it, I just didn't. It didn't pull me in. I don't know what. I mean, the music, the cinematography, or just the aesthetic, the time period, what's happening. It's all like, that's like Donovan Thompson could have made that if you gave him an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was built for me. But something about it just didn't draw me in. I don't know what it exactly was. As the show went on, and I kind of binged 1 through 4 when 4 and 4 come out, so I had the advantage of that. And like, I really did love it by the end of season 4. Like, I was like, okay, I'm in now. Whatever. But season 4 ended with basically like the Upside Down basically invading, right? In terms of portals and pockets are opening up, and it's kind of like setting you up for, it's kind of like the equivalent of like Thanos' army showing up in a way. And it's like, all right, Captain America's got his shield, and we're fixing to go do this thing. And I was really disappointed. And opening season 5 is like, they managed to do a way where we're back to the status quo, and we're going to do that build up again. And their answer was, and it was like, maybe this is like some inside joke for them. They thought it was just clever because it was also very meta. But they literally put a Band-Aid on, like a literal Band-Aid on the Upside Down to like, close off the plot that they created in season 4. And I was kind of like, I don't know why we couldn't have already hit the ground running. I would have took a lesser episode count and like us been like the kids, now instead of like they're still going to school, like they're going to school and they're kind of dealing with, like, you could still have these moments and like these conflicts, but like make it like, Red Dawn, where the kids are like that their own militia, and it's like the town is completely overtaken by military and Vecna's crew, and it's like, I mean, like they could have went full post-apocalyptic right at the gate. But I thought it was odd having, us kind of basically rewind time a little bit. That being said, I like seeing they have an operation now, and like they're doing runs, and they kind of have this system and those kind of things. But it felt like that should have been the opening of like a season 4. Yeah. Versus like only because of how they set up the end of season 4. That's the only reason I think that.
I think you're right. I have a feeling part of this is because of how long the gaps are between the seasons.
That's possible. Season 4? Yes.
2023?
It was at least 3 years ago, at least.
Yeah. And so like if this was a show coming every year was a new season, I think they probably do that because you've only had 3 to 4 months off. If it's like a serialized show, right? I think the fact that most people don't, I mean, yeah, some people will binge watch all the seasons up to it and then start watching it again. You had the benefit of that fact with season 4. I would say probably the majority of people won't, though. The majority of people will just pick up.
Yeah,
with season 5. And I understand from like a narrative point of like, we want the ending to hit really hard, so we need to gradually build up to it here.
Yeah, they're starting back at an equilibrium. I get that. Yeah,
and I hear you though. I think it does feel a little bit weird that it's like 3 months since that happened.
It's not a little weird. It's pretty weird.
Yeah,
way. And I watched the show. I'm going to cut you off real quick. I'm sorry. I watched the show like 3 years ago. Like once season 4 aired is when you and we discussed it for the first time ever on the podcast. I do not look at theories. I have not rewatched the show since then. I don't look at articles. I don't do none of that. I may have read like 1 or 2 articles when we were doing the podcast, but I am not a Stranger Things boy. But I remember how season 4 ended.
Sure.
Like I remember that, and I remember what happened to Sadie Sink's character and like where she was in the hospital and all these things. And I am like an avid filmmaker or avid movie watcher is what I'm trying to say. But I remembered that. I think they maybe like didn't account for like the intelligence of the audience, and also B, it's Netflix. Like it's right there. Like people are going to. I don't think. Yeah, I hear your side of it. I still think I'm right, but I hear you. I
think at the end of the day, it depends on the ending. Like we just said if the ending makes it feel worth it that we took these slower beats at first, it will have been the right decision. If it doesn't, it won't. I think it's hard to know until we get that.
I think, in theory, it could have been lower. I think also it's like an episode count thing. I think, we want to make this an event where we're doing like 7, 8 episodes. It so far could have felt like it really could have been maybe 5 or 6.
I think we at least could have skipped one of those episodes for sure in the first 4. For sure. I agree. At the same time, I was glued to my seat for every minute of it.
It's still entertaining. It's still fun.
The show is done at a production quality. The costumes, the sets, the music, the acting are so good. It is just fun to be in the world, right? And so I think there's probably a million reasons that they thought this was the best path. And I think, like I said, it's going to be hard to know. It's going to be impossible to know if it was the right choice until we get to the end, until we get to the finale. Because I mean, the thing is, we have 3 more episodes, and then we have the 2-hour finale. So it's like,
but we don't have to wait as long. It's like a 6-day wait.
Oh, 6 days.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, and we can kind of. I mean, I would actually have a hard time telling you all the things that happened between those first 10 minutes and the last 5. I know the general consensus of it. It did feel like we were hitting similar beats. Again, we're also kind of putting characters together that have meaningful relationships throughout the entire show. In like example, season 4, you can take you can separate I can't think of their character names right now, but 11 and her dad, what's his name?
Hopper.
Hopper. You can I can't want to say Harbor. You can separate Hopper and 11 in season 4 because it's not the last season, and we're gonna see them grow, and then it's gonna be fun watching them come back. Season 5, it's smart to set up those relationships again and be like, hey, don't forget these are the characters and their relationships, and then we're going to destroy them or make them pay off better. And so so we're kind of hitting some retreaded ground here in terms of just like dynamics and people paired with other people.
It's almost like we have to remind ourselves what the overall arcs of all these characters are, because for one, it's been forever since they began in season 1. Really, in theory, this is tying off the arcs that started in season 1. So I agree. It feels like it's a little bit moving the chess pieces into their places.
That's all they're doing. Yeah. But I will say, just like you hit the nail on the head, is that the last 5 minutes. I was actually watching it right here on my Mac, and I had like a blanket, and I was kind of bundled up, and I sit up You know, you feel it. You feel it when something's fixing to happen. I sit up and the music, and I started like crying. I started like teary eyed. And like, this is someone I'm not a Stranger Things boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like I don't have anything Stranger Things, period. I don't own a single merchandise. But like, the music was so good. The shots, the execution of the reveal, just what it meant coming down the pipeline. Like, I'm gonna get chills thinking about it. But I
usually hate montages, but it was a great montage moment.
No. That's built for me too. Like a character fixing to get like a power up, and they start thinking again. It can fuck it up real easy, but they start thinking about previous conversations.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is my bread and butter if it's done. Like, that is my shit if it's done correctly.
Yeah.
And they did it correctly, and I'm getting chills thinking about it, and I was just like, all right, boy, here we fucking go, baby. And then, of course, it cuts to black. You're like, no, you know, you're just like, no, but like in the best kind of no possible, you know? So,
I mean, I think, and like, there were so many little beats in that moment that were so, tons. It was like, for one, the like initial moment of like, holy shit. And then he kept stopping all the other ones. Yeah. And you're just like, and then by the end, when the blood runs, and you're just like, it's like, and like the music hits, like the score hits, and the blood is, and it's just like,
it's perfect.
Oh, and I think that's the moment where you're like, oh wait, that's right. These guys are all D&D characters.
Oh yeah,
this is a D&D campaign. This is going to end like a D&D campaign where all the characters like get a moment.
Do they all get?
I know, that's exactly. You're like, wait, okay, what were the other classes? What were the other? Like, you have to go back to season one. It's like, what is Dustin? Was he a warrior? Was he a paladin? You know, it's like.
Well, I talked to Matt briefly about it for. I'm not sure they started season 5 yet. I can't remember. Maybe they had, but briefly on the Christmas thing, and he was like, "Yeah, dude." And of course, there's always the big thing like bring Eddie back, all these kind of things. You know, that I don't think they realized that Eddie was such a big character until they had already finished it all. Right. But Matt's like, dude, of course, Matt knows D&D. And he's like, yeah, dude, Eddie's like the vampire guy. Like, he got killed by vampires. He's gonna come back as a vampire. Like, he'll be like a vampire guy in the Upside Down. And I was like, that, because I don't know D&D, and I was like, that's an amazing idea. You know, like, what if Eddie's a vampire? Like, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that sounds like the most metal thing possible to come back as a vampire? Anyway, so I was like, man, you're right. They could do things like this at the end.
They did, you know, I think this whole show starts as a D&D campaign or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it quickly just became a sci-fi horror, right? Or even like, I don't know, fantasy horror, however you want to call it. Dimensions, but there's
fantasy,
government,
sci-fi horror, yes.
And I think what this moment did is remind you, hey, wait, but this is still a D&D campaign. And I think that's the exciting part, is that a sci-fi horror, I'm going in with a certain kinds of expectations what a finale to a sci-fi horror will be. Usually something like someone you love will die. Like, it's going to have some sort of bittersweet. And I think there will be deaths absolutely coming for several characters. I already have my theories, but you're headed for a certain type of ending that usually isn't like adrenaline pumping, like, oh my god, like there aren't like fuck yeah moments usually at the end of a sci-fi horror movie. That's not typically, like, we don't end at an Avengers moment on those types of movies in a genre. And so I think up to these first, like the middle seasons, I feel like we didn't forget the D&D part, but it just wasn't central.
Well,
and so
again,
this part, bringing it back,
you hit the nail on the head.
To me, it just says like, oh wait, now the possibilities for what I'm going to be feeling at the end just changed into, this may have like an ending that makes me just want to rewatch the show because it's so epic and good.
I agree on that
versus it's bittersweet and sad and like the end of a journey, sci-fi horror. It's like, no, this is like an epic power up. Basically, we could have we're the guardians. You said it yourself, bitch. We're the guardians of the galaxy, right? Like, that could be coming in this form, right? Exactly.
Well, it's one of the best one-liners ever, by the way.
So like,
it's probably the best MCU one-liner ever. Let's just be honest.
Absolutely is. But like, we could be getting our own version of that in this show coming up, and that is like, okay,
yeah.
Now I'm really in.
Well, as I say, you mentioned this, alluded to it anyway, is that it's you said sci-fi horror, and because of the military's involvement,
Yeah.
and because of we're constantly seeing technology and like how it's playing with the upside down,
Yeah.
it can feel like in like 11's like a science experiment. It can feel like it's more sci-fi than supernatural or fantasy.
Right.
And then you kind of forget the upside down and Vecna. Like that's to me, that's fucking magic, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's magic shit. Like there's 11. She's got like telekinesis powers. But Vecna's like opening up portals and like can control people and go inside their minds. And to me, that's like magic, right? It's sorcery shit. And so, I think we can forget that this show is a D&D campaign, like you're saying. And also, most of the and the show isn't it. I haven't really thought about it too much, but it is a D&D campaign, and a lot of times in like a classical stories that you're just throwing obstacles at them, like at the hive mind or these beats, whatever, and they're not really getting power ups throughout until the end. Like typically, it all kind of coalesces in a fantasy story. It's kind of like pulling Excalibur's blade out of the thing at the last moment, or Aragorn getting the army to come save the day. You know what I'm saying? Like these supernatural things kind of come in at the very end to kind of remind you, like, oh, this world is so much more bigger and intricate and like fantastical than you maybe have remembering it as you were watching it.
And I would say the best dungeon masters know how to pull off an epic ending where you give each character their moment. And you say, okay, this is the moment where you overcome this great internal challenge, and now you've just leveled up to level 20, and now you've got this ability, right? Like it's like you build those moments into the final battle. So you just make everyone get to have their like moment on stage and they're badass.
I've always wanted to be a dungeon master. I've always wanted to like build a campaign, because I would do it like a movie. Like I would put in like seeds throughout the whole process, that like if they pulled certain levers, that I would know what's coming and I would set them up for something amazing. Like I would love it. I love just even thinking about it. It sounds so fun to me.
We need to do it. Travis actually mentioned we should do an online one at some point. Just have like a monthly, we do it on Zoom or something.
I would love it. I mean, I've seen some crazy like projection down until you boards, and people are drinking like out of ale, and like
people have some epic like gaming basements where it's like for tabletop gaming, and it's like
that's what I want to do.
That's the goals.
My ideal situation is that I become rich, and then I would have a room like this.
That's also my ideal situation. Is I also become rich.
Oh, I didn't think maybe we'll have that one. Yeah. But if I was rich, I would fly my friends to me, and I would be like every 3 to 6 months,
or like pick a week, and that week is a campaign.
It could be. I was going to say like, maybe I was going to say like, let's do like a 3-chapter kind of thing. But like I said, like let's do a weekend where it's like that's predominantly what we're doing, like but not all that we're doing. 4 or 5 hours on Saturday, 4 or 5 hours on Sunday, and you come back in 3 months and you do the next chapter. And we do like 3 of those kind of things for this longer thing. Anyway, that's my thought process, because I think that sounds fun. But anyway, so you see, like this is I asked Matt this too. Because I haven't really thought about Stranger Things. I said, because Matt was telling me all this D&D knowledge, and I was like, does D&D ever get upset about this? I said, they're kind of just like ripping off like characters basically, and like mythology. And he was like, nah, dude, I think D&D was kind of like basically breathing for air. And then Stranger Things came in and kind of like resurrected them in a big way. And I was like, just made them bigger. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, it was a converge of a few things, right? Critical Role got big right around the time that Stranger Things came out. Critical Role became a huge thing, and it was just voice actors doing D&D, which is like, that's got to be the best people to ever do D&D with, is voice actors.
Good idea. It's just a good idea.
It's just brilliant. And then they turned that into a cartoon, and so I think you're right, but I think we did see just like
that's Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon.
Yeah,
that's D&D as well.
Oh, it's a separate thing. I thought that was Critical Role for a second. Okay, so
no, Critical Role is Matthew Mercer.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's been in billions and billions and billions.
His name
of things.
sounds super familiar. I just can't.
Oh,
think
you
of
would.
what he looks like.
Come on.
I'll figure it out. Keep going. I'll look it up.
Yeah, just look at the things he's voiced. It'll be like everything you've ever seen something in.
Okay. Okay.
So I do think it wasn't just Stranger Things, but Stranger Things did a big part of it. It really helped revive the nostalgia of like 80s tabletop gaming, and when tabletop gaming became a thing, which was in the 80s. And yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. I think Stranger Things is a reason there's a way more people interested in D&D, especially kids, especially younger people, because of the main characters in the show. And a lot of people started watching the show when they were younger. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt that D&D, Stranger Things and D&D loves Stranger Things.
Also, let's just do a sidebar here thing. How much more healthy is learning and exploring and creating in the D&D world than like being on your phone playing a video game? I'm all about video games. Like, I love video games. But one thing I've really tried to nail home with River, especially maybe a year or two ago, was like, let's come up with stories. You know, like we're playing with our toys. Like we're there's bad guys, good guys, or there's, you know, gray areas, and like they have objectives, and like we have to do stuff to do, you know, like that was my objective. When Kimberly just wants to like draw with him, he's like, "No, Mom, we got to go save the princess from the castle. And we got to, you know, like River's in it now." And I think like a kid getting to flex that imagine. It's funny because we were playing yesterday. And he was like, "I was like, that doesn't make any sense." But he goes, "Well, it's coming from my imagination." And I was like, "Well, I kind of argue with that. You know, you beat me. Your imagination was bigger than mine for a second." And so anyway, I just think. That's a healthy thing. If you want to get your kid like a small D&D kit, that'd be fun, and play with them. Yeah. Like, actually, like, it may seem silly to you, but like it's going to be very healthy, I think.
Well, and there's lots of online resources for like simpler versions of the game that is easier for kids and what to focus on with the kids, especially because kids are role playing all the time. That's what playing is. Yeah, kids are role playing different things they see adults do, and it's like that's how you grow. That's how the brain develops. And so it's literally not work for the kids to role play. They're already role playing all the time. Yeah, and so it's just learning how to kind of harness that and focus on those moments to really, I mean, Reese is interested. I have a D&D starters campaign, and I've been wanting to, he's been saying, "Hey, can we do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd like to. I just need to find the time, because I want to just maybe just do one for him and Catherine, just let them design their characters. And
get him like a cool like ale kind of thing, put some orange juice in it or something.
Exactly.
Put some root beer in there. That'd be awesome.
It's, I want to do it. I did some dungeon mastering for like 2 sessions, and that was basically the end of the campaign for some friends like 10 years ago, and it was a blast. It was way more work than I realized before I did it, and that was part of the reason I couldn't keep it up, because it's like, it's a lot of writing and a lot of thinking and coming up with puzzles and like it's a lot, but it's a blast. And yeah, I mean, just coming back to the topic of the show, I think Stranger Things, it's one of those things where like watching this show makes me want to play it more or do it more, play those kind of games more. In fact, I might get back to this for my one more thing, or my last before we go, but I've been playing a game called Rogue Trader, 40K Rogue Trader, that's basically a Baldur's Gate type, with just less budget, not as much production value. But I mean, it's basically D&D, you know what I mean? Like that's been kind of my game I've been playing lately. So, and I think, you know, I'm all about the role playing games. I'm all about, when I play a game, I want to tell my own story and do my own thing, not be told a story or told what to do. And so, yeah, I mean, I think, role playing in general, I'm a big fan of all versions.
Yeah. And to kind of tie it back to Stranger Things again, even more so, is that I think what's so exciting about that last minute or two that leads into our next volume and then the finale is that it's a reminder that we don't know how big this could be. Like, we don't know how big the fantasy elements are going to play out. And I think it makes your imagination just kind of go crazy. Like you know, again, we have a problem, especially on this show, to like make things better than they end up being. Yeah. But also that's the fun of it too, is just, you know, imagining Will and Eleven standing next to each other and like, you know, ripping Vecna apart or whatever.
The moment when all the other kids realize they're
also been affected by this world, and they have something, they all have their own piece, you know what I'm saying? Like, I totally see the last episode, everyone starts falling into like a traditional role of D&D, the wizard, the
but
archer, or whatever they are.
Yeah.
In a fun way that's kind of on the nose, but also it just plays nicely into the plot that they've built around it, so.
It's essentially what we want is the end game sequence. The Cap Thor and Iron Man versus Thanos. They each had their moment. They each did something we've been waiting on them to do the whole 10 years. Cap holding the hammer, Thor with the hammer and the axe. There were so many moments, and then Tony with the Infinity Stones. There were so many moments that were like, we know it's coming, we can't wait for it, and they delivered it. And it's, even though we knew it was coming, it was still amazing, right? It was like, oh yes, it was everything we wanted. I think that's what we're hoping for here. And so far, I trust the Duffers. We'll see. They've never ended a series before, but they seem like smart people and just are aware of how fan expectations work. And I think that's even where Game of Thrones broke in some ways, is that the creators just thought they could do anything and people would love it. They almost felt like the fans.
It's like Ryan Johnson and Star Wars to a degree. It's okay to subvert expectations, as we've come to know that phrase, particularly from Ryan Johnson's.
But you've got to do it in the right way.
But if you do it, but you have to be aware, like you said, of fan expectations and what they want to see. And maybe, you still got to build those moments in. Again, I will continue to say this. I said it 2 weeks ago to someone else. The biggest tragedy of Game of Thrones is not having Jon Snow on a dragon fighting the Ice King or the Night King on an ice dragon. It's just it's like someone, it's just there. It's like someone hey, you're out at the Olympics and here's a target, but guess what? You get to walk up and put your barrel to the target. Yeah. And if you shoot it, you just got to pull the trigger and then you win the Olympics. Stuff like that. You're just and that's what meant as a tragedy. So they need to
don't think we're getting that. It feels like they know what we want. That moment with Will.
The only fear is that they may give us maybe too nostalgic, too whatever. But I'm hoping that. But again, I'm okay with that versus the alternative, which is,
of course,
Bran sits on the throne. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So.
Listen, Picard season 3 is just a giant can of fan service.
Yeah,
and in all the bad ways and the good ways.
Yeah,
but it's what I wanted. I didn't want this bull crap. Picard has a daughter and now is an android or whatever the fuck those first 2 seasons were.
Did they
whatever that
he's
was?
An android in season 3? Did they forget about it? Did they mention he's an android in season 3? Or he's really a robot with did they ever bring it up ever again?
To be honest, if they do, it's a throwaway line. Season 3 is all about him having a son he didn't know he had. And so you get this classical, here's the young protagonist in this show about old people from a show from 30 years ago. So he's just kind of that quintessential, he represents the youth market that we want. So hopefully someone young will watch this, and here's why you should. Here's the person to identify with.
How excited are you about?
But man, it has those moments where you're Worf stepping out of the shadows at the right time. Just everything you wanted is there, and so I love it. So.
How excited are you about Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy? Oh my! Did you see the poster for that?
To never watch that show. That's how.
Did you see the poster for that?
It looks horrible. It looks like
it's 90210. They're all on they're and I saw someone bring this up. Robert Meyer Burnett actually brought this up, but he was like that stuff works and teenage rom-com sitcom stuff. On season 3 or 4, where the whole the cast and they're all there and they're doing the lay, they're laying on the thing and you're oh, there's all the characters and they're all together like friends or something show like that. But it's this is Star Trek. The trailer does not give off a rom. Anyway, I watched it. I was kind of I can't wait to forget it. I can't wait to forget about this show.
Kurtzman Trek is. It truly is just it feels like an abomination. I actually don't believe the people in there either understand or or want to do what Star Trek was. This feels like a pure for one, Star Trek's not doing well. I don't know if you noticed the shows are getting canceled. No one's watching them. The reviews are going down. Even the ones that started Star Trek Discovery started better, and then by the end of it, you're this isn't good anymore. What it was. The people that did like what it was in the beginning aren't even liking it towards the end, and I didn't even like what it was in the beginning. And then this is just feels like this just pure, let's try to get a Gen Z audience to like Star Trek effort, but make it nothing like what Star Trek, like it just feels like pure, this is our IP. We have this IP so people will fund it, so people will pay attention to it, but we just need a show to attract Gen Z. Let's throw the Star Trek. Like it just feels just so lifeless, passionless, like in lack of inspiration, like uninspired. Yes. Yeah. Like it just feels so like, and they bring in Robert Picardo back, who is one of the best characters in Voyager. But like, even when you hear these people talk about their shows, like in interviews, you can just sense this level of like, yeah, this is just a paycheck.
They're getting paid.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this is just, what else is Robert Picardo being asked to do right now? Yeah. Like, I mean, he's not in the height of his, like it, to me, it just feels so, what is, cynical. Like it just like, let's just make money off of people that will watch anything with the word Star Trek on it. And there are people out there, I see them in the Reddit, and now
it's the Joe Williams of the world. Any Star Trek is good Star Trek, any Star Wars is good Star Wars, and me and Daniel Winkford will tell you that's not the case. No,
I mean, honestly, I really believe it just should have died. I just think, and they're already talking about that. Like the rumors are that they're doing a new movie that's not Abrams verse.
Yeah, they've already canceled the Star Trek 4. They've already done that.
And those movies, I mean, that.
I do like those movies.
The first one is good. You like what?
I like those movies. I like all three of them.
The first one was good. The other two were.
You don't like Beyond? Really?
No, I don't.
You don't like Into Darkness? I really liked Into Darkness. I also really loved Star Trek 2.
Wasted Khan. It had a great first 60 minutes of that movie, and in the end just did not feel worthy of Khan to me. It's still good. It's still better than Beyond. But anyway, all I'd say is
Ricardo Montalban, dude. It's hard to ever replicate what that guy did.
Who?
In Star Trek. Ricardo Montalban. He was Khan.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I mean,
actor.
Well, and you go back to that, like, there's so many things that even go into that. Star Trek, the first motion picture, was not successful. Most people didn't watch it.
It's also not very good.
No, it's not. It's not. And then the second
it's enterprise porn. It's enterprise porn.
Yeah, no, it's quite boring.
Which is cool in its own way.
The second one was a reaction to that. Anyway, there's so much.
I've seen all the Star Trek films. I've seen them all. I like half of them.
And you know, Gene Rod. Even when you go back to the shows, there's this weird thing of like, especially with Next Generation, the show got better the less Gene Roddenberry was involved.
Interesting.
Like there's a producer, I'm trying to remember, but there's a certain kind, there was a writer and kind of a showrunner that was in charge of that and Voyager and DS9, and like he's kind of the reason those shows are so good, kind of thing. Like he just was focused on good storytelling and he put the focus where it needed to be. Gene Roddenberry was kind of obsessed with like making social statements all the time.
Yeah.
And thinking he was smarter than everybody else. And so it really is like these other voices that came in and took this world he created, which is amazing and really interesting ideas, and then told these really, really cool stories in it that made, like, to me, Star Trek isn't what it is without The Next Generation. The Next Generation made it a cultural, it made it more than a cult thing. It made it pop culture, right? That everyone knew what Star Trek was. And for a while there, it was one of the most watched TV shows in America. Like, it's crazy. Star Trek. And so anyway, all that to say is I hope Star Trek Academy, I hope all the humans in that get paid very well and go on to find very, very promising careers, but I hope that show gets as many viewers as it deserves. Which is,
I keep saying this, but I wish I'm not the Star Trek nerd like you are, but I wish Robert Meyer Burnett would come on here and talk to you about. I wish I could just watch you two talk about Star Wars or Star Trek, because he seems. Robert Meyer Burnett, he did like all the special features for Next Generation, but he's on the John Campea show. But he's so fun to listen to, talk about films and movies, whether it be Marvel, Star Wars, Star Trek. But his Star Trek's his jam, and like when I hear you talk, I hear him talk about Star Trek.
Yeah.
And so I think like you guys would just like do this mesh, you know what I'm saying, on the subject.
Like even the idea of like that movie that came out with Michelle Yeoh, Section 31.
It'd be hard for me to watch.
Let me get on a small soapbox. The whole idea.
Go for it.
In DS9, Section 31, in DS9, there's this war against the changelings, and the Federation is losing. Losing bad. This is like the worst it ever gets. So like the good guys are losing and we don't know what to do. Section 31 comes about. There's this guy named Sloan who claims there's the secret, basically CIA of the Federation that no one knows about. No one acknowledges exists, but they're willing to do what it takes, right? They're willing to break the Federation's moral code to win the war. And so there's this whole thing of like, he's recruiting one of the cast members, and we're still trying to figure out, is this real? Like they're checking up the lines and no one's willing to acknowledge it, and then by the end of it ends up being incredibly critical to like the ending of the plot of that show. Okay. Like it is a core thread to how everything is resolved, but it ends it with you not knowing, was this truly an organization? Was this one man that went off the rails? Like it just and it's supposed to leave you with this like, is the Federation is the Federation maybe a little more pragmatic than it presents itself, or was this one man that got so scared that orchestrate, because you don't know, and it kind of leaves you that on purpose of like, it's ambiguous, and then you just get a fucking spy action movie starring Section 31. Like it just is like this, like
it took what was it took what was
and
cool.
Interestingness,
and like just made it like a blockbuster thing that does not. They forgot what made it cool in the first place, period.
The whole idea was the idea of counterintelligence ethical? It like there's all like, if the difference between saving millions of people is you selling your soul to do horrible things, is it like that's the
you know what did that better? You know what could have been good with Section 31? Basically, and like they did it with Andor, that character.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the better version of that.
Or just they could have done more when they were like hunting. Yeah. Anyway, it just
you know what I'm saying though.
It is so antithetical to the idea of what Section 31 was in the narrative.
Oh yeah.
That it just becomes like, you guys just didn't even watch the show. Someone just said, "Hey, there's this secret agency in Star Trek called Section 31. Let's do a spy movie about that."
Yeah, 100%.
That was the conversation. No one actually watched. It's like that. That to me is the perfect example of what New Trek is. It's masquerading as something that we used to love, at the same time as literally stomping on the throats of all the ideas of the things we used to love. So it just feels like this, like.
Well, also, I also think that like something like, I don't know. I know now about Section 31 just based on what you told me.
Yeah.
And my first gut instinct is the riskier one, which is like, if you're going to do it, make like a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy version of Star Trek, where it's, you don't know who the good guys are. And it's kind of like this, internal look at like spy agencies, but like you still don't even know if it's, like it's just very like, it's just very like not subliminal.
How you should do it is they should still be, even if they're anti-hero antagonist, it should still be someone trying to determine if Section 31 exists within Starfleet.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it's kind of this, and you still are dealing with, is it okay that they exist? If what they did was heinous, but they saved millions of lives, how do we feel about it? Like you still deal with those ideas, which are like, this was in the late 90s when this Section 31 and all this stuff was happening.
It's not
this
original.
This is like pre 9/11. This is pre 9/11 when they're having these kind of like deep state conversations, right? Like this is before surveillance state was like a hot topic. Star Trek was already dealing with this, and so I just think.
Well, again,
everything that's happening now
they're coming out the Cold War.
Ammunition to reinspect it. It's just
for sure. But I was just saying, like, even just on the breaking, just not even breaking the story yet. Like, don't do it like a blockbuster. Their idea was they heard the through line of what Section 31 was on like
Michelle
the most
Yeoh
basic
just
level.
won an Oscar 2 years
for an
before
action
that.
film. And if you look, it's like they're like, let's make a blockbuster, but it's like you guys got to take more risk. And it's Star Trek. You could do a whole just like we did on some of the other Star Trek movies. You could do a whole Star Trek movie where it's like the opening is in space, but then you're like in the 1960s world. That like the world is like humans, but they haven't maybe they have like a pointy ear or something, but they haven't progressed. They're like 1960s Cold War still, and it's like 3025. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you still do the same. Like you could do anything in Star Trek. And so anyway, that's my pitch.
That the people in charge of it ultimately do not see value in it other than as a cash. It makes money.
Yeah,
the word Star Trek makes money. And
they're not interested in elevating or protecting the IP. They're interested in, like you're saying, making a quick buck. Yes. In the pursuit of not caring about devaluing.
And let's remember who this is: Paramount.
It is Paramount. And the thing is, like they care about making like money quickly. They don't care about making money long term. That's just the problem.
They don't care about telling good stories. They care about telling profitable stories.
Yeah, I mean, look at Marvel. They tried to make things quick because they were trying to get things boosted for Disney Plus shareholders. And now we've got a trailer circulating right now on Avatar where it looks like they're going back to the well, which I'm totally cool with because I like that well,
Sure.
Anyway, this was a Stranger Things podcast, not Star Trek, but I love our little tangent. I would love to get you two guys together and be like, just go, baby. Let me just like moderate. Like, let me be like, now Robert, you go.
Moderate who? Daniel? I mean, we're both going to be on the same team. It sounds like
that's true. Yeah, but it'd be fun. Be like, okay,
you can moderate. Now, Robert, let's pretend Paramount's in the room.
Now, okay, that sounds good. I'll pretend to be Paramount.
I'll add more
How about that one?
You guys have made this as bad as the Landman.
I will say things like, what if we do this? And then you guys can go and fight me on it. That sounds fun. Yeah. Anyway, Stranger Things, last thing I'll say about it was it had a slow start. I wasn't digging kind of how they got us back into the groove, but by the end of it, I was in. So much in that whenever they announced they're doing the finale in theaters, which I think they should do with all shows like this going forward, they should do with Game of Thrones. I'm glad they didn't, but they should have. And I bought my ticket. I'm seeing it early January 1st. I will be a little bit behind most people in the world, but I'm going to see it in like an environment where everyone there loves that show, and it's going to be electric. And I cannot wait to feel the energy that's going to be amazing. So they better not drop the ball, Duffer Brothers. You got a lot riding on it.
Game of Thrones episode 8. What a horrible! If everyone ends up hating it. Like the whole theater's disappointed.
That's gonna be a bad walk of shame. Really at least when you're at home, you can like turn it off and just go like, oh. But then if you're at the theater, you have to walk out with people and like everyone's their shoulders are a little lower. Oh my God.
Did that really happen? Here, I'll say my last piece on it. Stranger Things, for all its, I will say this: both this season and the last season, coming into it, I was a little bit like, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know. I like this show, but it's been a while, and we'll see. And both seasons have pulled me all the way back in. And I think that is a credit to it, that this show has dealt with giant breaks between seasons, unreasonable amounts of years between seasons, and at both times have been able to pull me back onto the hype train. And I think that takes talent and skill, a particular kind, and I want to give it credit for that. And I'm ready for the end. So let's see what happens.
That's great. Let's get this next section kind of short. But before we go, we like to highlight one last thing that may or may not be TV or movie related. Daniel?
Man, I have so many things that I've been watching and doing lately. I'm gonna center on one thing. Castlevania, Netflix.
Ooh, good choice.
I've never played any of the Castlevania games.
That's great.
And I jumped in. Have you watched it all?
No, but I know a lot about it though.
It's incredible. It's
great.
It is like a cerebral show about evil, about love, about faith. The animation, incredible. The premise of it, incredible. It's just a great show. Castlevania, it's gory as hell in a fun way. Like it's very much leans into that. The art style is gothic and just beautiful. And it's just got fun characters and badass fight scenes and then just it's dealing with really cerebral, intellectual topics in a really fun way. Castlevania, highly recommend it. I'm almost done with the 4th season, which is the end of this one, but then there's a sequel series after it that has already had 1 season and has more coming, and I can't wait to dive into that. So Castlevania, I love me a good dark, like Death Note-esque anime, something that's dealing with death and evil and gore with the most bright colors and giant-eyed characters in the world. That's my kind of thing.
You just reminded me that My Hero Academia finished last weekend. Oh. And I have not watched this. It's only like 8 episodes this last season, and I've been waiting patiently to kick River and Kimley out of the house so I can have 4 hours, just so I can cry nonstop for 4 hours. So I'm ready for that. I need to get on it because I'm ready to see that show end. It's like my favorite anime of all time, no questions asked. But for my before we go, I've seen a lot of things. Again, we've been off the air for a little bit now, but I will give a quick shout out to Knives Out. Well, Wake Up Dead Man. Had a great time with it. Loved it. I'm also curious to hear what your. No, I saw it. You know, it's a Netflix. I saw it the other night, and great time with it. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on it too.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what you think about it.
Me too.
I'm not sure it's my favorite. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Is it better than 2? Because I thought 1 was much better than 2.
I think 1 still may be the best.
That's not.
But also, again, I feel like it's unfair because I can't really. I don't want to say anything to you because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But I will say, like, I called it in the first 15 minutes.
Okay.
Which I did not do with the first Knives Out. You know.
Yeah.
But also, again, I watch a lot of movies, and I've seen now too. I mean, I've seen, you know, we write movies, so it's like, you know, I'm my brain's not a fair brain to judge the film on.
We're cued in on the kind of signals that the movies make, 100% to certain.
Yeah, and I go into that movie. I go into that movie being like detective mode. You know, like I'm basically Sherlock Holmes combined with Batman when I start those kind of movies.
Can we outthink the writers and the directors? Can we
and I feel like I might have outthought him a little bit on this one, but I still think it was very fun and great performances and just a great cast as always. That's not my before we go, but it sounds like it. My before we go is I also watched this movie, and I like Knives Out better, but Jay Kelly on Netflix. And it stars George Clooney, Jay Kelly. It stars George Clooney and Adam Sandler. This is like more of his like serious roles, Adam Sandler, like Punch Drunk Love kind of thing. And it's very possible they'll be nominated for Academy Awards. I don't think the film will be a Best Picture nomination, but like their acting could be nominated. It's like they're in the talks this year, but it's basically like a reflection of like Jay Kelly's basically George Clooney, right? Like the real George Clooney. And it's this guy reflecting on the choices he made for fame and fortune to be an actor. And he's reflecting on his past life and kind of some of these key moments that got him there and whether it was worth it or not. And it's like, it's beautiful and it's sad. And it's like also there's some great moments in it. But I mean, it was just like a fun, a more old school film where it's just like good acting, good timing, good cinematography. And it's not the best movie ever made at all.
Play-like theater, like almost like one.
It's very play-like. The way they get in and out of scenes with Jay Kelly, like he'll be looking at something, all of a sudden he's like in a different scene, but he's still in the scene, just like theater. It's just like theater. And so anyway, it's like it didn't feel like it was 2 hours and 20 minutes, whatever it was, but I really enjoyed it because again, I've always liked George Clooney as an actor, and there's this great thing at the end where they kind of show you all his films, but like it's supposed to be Jay Kelly, but it's George Clooney. You know, and so anyway, it's a great moment at the end, but it makes you think about things for sure, particularly from a filmmaker artistic perspective in terms of is all this worth what I'm giving up? 100%.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So check that out. Well, how can our listeners find us, Daniel, or write into us?
Listeners, you can write into
No, they can comment.
But you're not supposed to tee me up for that. That's not. I'm just supposed to go into telling people that this is how you know it's been a couple weeks, right? I was just
helping you out a little bit.
Yeah, but you teed me up just like I used to do the Bitly, so I kicked into like autopilot mode, right? You're like,
sorry.
Yeah, this is your. My point is that this is all your fault. Not mine.
I'll take it.
Nothing's my fault.
I accept responsibility.
Well, I want to tell the listeners, what I want to tell them is that you can comment on our stuff. We love that. We always reply to comments. We love discussing what you guys thought about things. I would love to hear some Star Trek comments just to reinforce what I already believe. Please comment if you agree with me and tell me I'm right. That's what I would.
If you don't agree with Daniel, just don't comment. That's what he's trying to tell you.
Understand that you are factually, it's impossible for you to be correct. Okay. And go and re-examine your life. But
I'm going to make a burner account and fight with you on YouTube comments.
Like you did that one time when you wrote into the show. Didn't you do that one time to the Bitly?
Did I do that one time?
You were a fake Bitly writer.
I was. That tells you how long we've been in this for a long time now. Well, you just ruined it for everybody.
Next year
who goes back to watch our... No, it will not be 10 years.
No, you're right.
This is year 6 right now, buddy.
You're right. 2018.
We just hit our 6-year anniversary about a month ago. Our 6-year anniversary. Yeah, that's happy anniversary. I forgot to give you something about it. Happy anniversary.
And if you have forgot also to get us something for anniversary, just go subscribe. Share the channel, log in to your mom's account, and subscribe with her account. No big deal.
She'll like it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't, she can just like mute it, but stay as a follower so our numbers look good.
Yeah. Just help the algorithm. Anyway, man, okay, we have not been doing this for a while. My name is Donavon Thompson.
I'm Daniel Wingfield.
And we'll see you at your next session.
Real Therapy is brought to you by 241 Studios and viewers like you. Thanks for stopping by. Remember to tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. for a new session with Daniel and Donavon. And remember, they're gonna talk about how it makes them feel. They're